I grew up in a church where my dad was the pastor, so I started my spiritual journey at an early age. I probably was in church like the first Sunday after I was born, and probably just about every Sunday after that.
I grew up in what I thought at the time was a big happy family, one of 9 kids, and I was right in the middle. And everything was great. You know, I was taught early that God loved me and that He had a plan. When I was 17, my mother died of a sudden heart attack. And so that kind of rocked my world. And over the next few years, I had 2 brothers who were in fishing accidents in Alaska that died, and then my father died of cancer. So kind of within just a few years, I started to go, what is going on? And the family that had always been kind of my rock, the center, when you have a big family like that, you tend to really pull in, and my family started to fragment, and so I began to really question, you know, my faith.
My faith back then was fairly shallow, and the experiences that he had for me later in life really were what caused me to grow deeper in my faith and to have a greater appreciation for him and what he could do in my life and what he had done, and also that he is a tremendously powerful God. I mean, the things that he did in my life really emphasize that for me.
Had pretty rocky years there in the early 20s and mid-20s, and then I met Steve on a business trip, and he began to just ask me really pointed questions about what I believed. And through that, I discovered that I didn't have a personal relationship with Christ, not the kind that he did.
One of the biggest points in my life of growth has been getting married to my wife, Catherine, and going through 25 years of marriage together and raising kids. For me, he challenged me when we first met. We came from completely different backgrounds. Not completely, we both came from religious families, but different kinds of religions.
Steve said he couldn't date me because, you know, that he couldn't live his life knowing that I was going to hell. And I said, you, or me, I'm not going to hell, you're the one going to hell. So we both really thought that we had the answer.
For me, it was extremely challenging for her to be able to question me, and you know, we had a lively discussion for months after we met about what it meant, you know, to love God, what it meant to be a Christian, and she challenged me to not question my faith, but she challenged me to understand my faith and be able to explain it to people.
I learned that unless I had a personal relationship with Christ and put my faith in Him, that really there was no stability in my life. So that began a process of growth for me, and Steve and I married and moved to Phoenix and got involved in the Scottsdale Bible Church. Actually, a man on the plane gave us a card and wrote down the number, and we came and never left. That was 25, 26 years ago. After that, we had children, 4 kids, 3 boys, 3 really rowdy, rambunctious, rough and tumble boys, and then our 4th child was a daughter, and she brought a lot of softening to our family.
When Catherine was pregnant with our 4th child, we found out that she would be born with hydrocephalus and spina bifida.
Just through the special circumstances that she had and special needs and special care that she required, it kind of really softened all of us up quite a bit. And that's been really good for us, for all of us.
People do struggle. But for us, it has turned into a major blessing in our family. I think Catherine and I have really grown in our faith and our love for our family just because, you know, of Grace having spina bifida. She's a tremendous blessing to our family. She's an encourager. She encourages us. She encourages her brothers.
We've learned a lot about body life and what that is and how to participate in that and how to give, and also especially how to receive, which has been hard for us, but it's been a good thing to learn, really good thing.
They prayed for us constantly. They took care of our kids when we needed to. They prayed for Grace specifically. They brought us meals. You know, they did whatever that needed to be done for us to get us through.
I think just understanding that aspect of, you know, bonding with other believers and feeling really the connection of brothers and sisters.
We would have been on an island. You know, we would have been just without any support.
That sense of how the body is supposed to work, and the give and take, and just the encouragement and the exhortation to one another, and how important that is. Just to have that and not be out there kind of on our own, where we can easily get off track so easily. So just coming together as a church is really important for us.
It's always a challenge to understand how God's working, but we know that He is.